What's going on, webheads? Today I will be reviewing the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. I just got back from the theater, fresh thoughts in my mind. Let's begin.
You know what it is I love about being Spider-Man? Everything.
Now, before I actually get into talking about the movie, I'm going to say that there is going to be a spoiler section later in the video. I will announce when it's going to happen, but so far in this beginning one, I'm just going to talk about the actors, the settings, everything, the action, so no spoilers until I announce it. So let's start off with the acting. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man in this one was phenomenal. I personally 100% think that he is Spider-Man incarnate. I don't know why, but he is a perfect Spider-Man Peter Parker. I believe in this one he was a lot better. In the first Amazing Spider-Man he was more awkward and quiet, but in this one he was more playful and comedic. So and that's who Spider-Man is. He's very playful and comedic. He's not a serious superhero mask vigilante dude. He is a playful dude, and Andrew Garfield knocked it out of the park as Peter Parker, and he knocked it out of the park as Spider-Man. Now let's talk about the lead actress role in this movie. Emma Stone did a perfect job as playing Gwen Stacy. I believe that she deserves a thumbs up for this, because in the first movie it was more of, I'm Spider-Man, I like you, you like me, let's get together and, you know, see what's gonna happen, you know, with this relationship. In this one, it's more of, should I be with Gwen because her father told me to not be with her, it was his dying wish, and I feel guilty putting her in harm's way with just being with me. So there's a lot of that in this movie, but not too much to make you annoyed. In the first one it was kind of annoying to me, but in this one it's good. But Emma Stone, above all, plays Gwen Stacy funny. There's some funny parts where she accidentally shouts out his name and everyone in the theater laughed, and it was just hilarious when she did that. So she really had to probably study Gwen Stacy from the comics and sort of get into character, but she got into character really fast, and she had a lot of energy into this role. The next star in this movie I want to talk about is Harry Osborn, who is played by Dane DeHaan. He is mostly known for his role in Chronicle, you know, Andrew, the crazy kid with amazing superpowers. But yes, Dane DeHaan did a perfect job as Harry Osborn. He played him well because, you know, James Franco in the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, he didn't play Harry Osborn as Harry Osborn needed to be played as. He played him as more of a douchey corporate guy in the Sam Raimi ones, but Dane DeHaan plays Harry crazy, and that's who Harry is. He is mentally insane because he is, you know, the son of the original Green Goblin. He becomes Green Goblin later in the comics, and Dane DeHaan pulled it off perfectly. He became Green Goblin later in the movie. You guys didn't know that, you know, he does become Green Goblin, but I'll talk about that later in the spoiler section about what happens and stuff. Craziness, but he played it great. He played it crazy. He is Harry Osborn, so I really hope to see him come back in the third Amazing Spider-Man movie, hopefully fourth, or the Sinister Six movie, I don't know. But yes, 100%, I give him a thumbs up. He played it really good. And last, but certainly not least, Jamie Foxx as Electro. He knocked it out of the park as a villain. As a visually stunning villain, they made Electro look crazy with the CG. He looks like a real electricity lightning bolt, and I love what they did with visuals in this movie. But deep beneath who Electro is, Max Dillon is, you know, the guy who gets turned into Electro. He is a really disturbed guy. He really idolizes Spider-Man up to a point of a god status. And when Spider-Man does something he doesn't want to do, he turns on him. He turns on anyone. He has these crazy thoughts in his head that everyone's against him, no one likes him, and he talks to himself a lot. So Max Dillon getting turned into Electro was a crazy transformation. The part where he actually got turned into Electro, what happened to him, I will talk about in the spoilers. Let's just say it was gruesome, and I did not see it coming. When I was watching it, I was like, stop, no. It was to that point where, wow, that really just happened. So Max Dillon, played by Jamie Foxx, ultimately turned into Electro 100%. He did an incredible job. A 5 out of 5 stars for him. If Jamie Foxx was right in front of me, I would shake his hand saying, good job, man, you did it 100%. Now let's get into the action of the movie, and right from start to finish, it is chock full of action scenes, and every single scene, every fight scene, every situation, it is all organic. It is all something new that I have not seen before in a Spider-Man movie. In the first 3 movies, the Sam Raimi trilogy with Tobey Maguire, I felt like I've been there, done that. And in this one, I didn't feel that. I felt like it was 100% original. I think Mark Webb and everyone in the visual effects department made this movie look almost realistic as possible. I don't know what it is. Marvel has an incredible visual effects team, and I'm pretty sure they have the money to afford it. But in all of it, like Thor: The Dark World and Captain America and Avengers and now Amazing Spider-Man, every single visual in all those movies is amazing. They do such a good job with it. They make it realistic, and that's what I like, because it puts you more into the feel of the movie, the more of the story, and the action is perfect. Don't expect, I wasn't tired of it. I wasn't tired of it from start to finish. So saying that, I really applaud them for making it such a good and entertaining movie. Now let's move on to the story without trying to have any big spoilers in there. So basically what happens in the story is Peter Parker is, surviving high school and being Spider-Man. I bet he feels more of Spider-Man in this one than he did in the first one, because it was basically an origin story in the first one. This one, he's been at it for a couple of years, he's gotten to the groove of things, and he's more comedic and playful with all the citizens of New York, and you can tell in the first 5 minutes of it. And I loved the opening scene with Paul Giamatti as the Russian guy who sooner or later becomes Rhino. That was funny. He's just funny to see. Peter Parker's just funny, and for some reason I think, I can tell by his accent that he is from New York. He has that New York accent. In the first one, he was more of just like an awkward, nerdy dude. In this one, you can tell that he kind of worked on his accent a little bit, which was good. It put authenticity to the character. But the story, really good. You meet Max Dillon in the very beginning, and you sort of see him dissolve very slowly into who he later becomes as Electro. And I couldn't help but to feel sorry for him, because he is like he's like the classic nerdy guy who tries his hardest for people to like him, but he tries so hard that people don't want to like him, and he thinks everyone hates him for that, which when he becomes, the Electro that we know, fuels his rage and gives him the opportunity to take his revenge. And then we have Harry Osborn that comes in like almost near mid to the movie. You see their friendship between Peter and him grow. They haven't seen each other for 10 years because Harry's been away at a military school / boarding school for rich kids, and you just see their friendship rekindle pretty quick. You're like, oh, what's up, dude? Oh, what's up? I love you, man. Stuff like that. So, and then they start talking, and then Harry finds out that he has this disease that his dad has, that his dad actually dies in the movie. A semi-spoiler, but it's kind of obvious in the trailers if you've seen it. But yes, he finds out that he has the same sickness that his dad has, and above all, he has to do everything in his power because he doesn't want to die. And that even means finding out, how can I get in contact with Spider-Man? He thinks Spider-Man has the answers. He has done so much research. His dad gave him all these files on this small USB drive that he finds, and he thinks Spider-Man is the key to saving him. Which, if you guys haven't guessed by now, kind of leads to his, somewhat demise later. I won't explain it until the spoiler section, but the story was really good, and the ending, oh man, I will talk about that later, but the ending with Peter and Gwen, that's all I'll say. Holy cow, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It is bonkers. So my last final words before I get into the spoiler part, I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. It was almost perfect. I personally think no movie is really perfect. I give this a strong 9.5 though. And if you have not seen it yet and you're worried about it and gave you faith to go see it, I go see it. It is so good. I love this movie 100%. I think that it was perfect. And I am a huge Spider-Man fan, and I love the comics to death, and they really did it justice. They really made this seem like I was watching a comic book movie on screen in live action, and not many comic book movies do that. They really veer off from the source material, but this one kept to the story. So go watch it, go see it with your friends. I saw it with 2 friends of mine, and it was awesome. I wore my Spider-Man getup, and it was a blast. Go see it with your friends. It is worth the watch. Okay, spoiler time. If you have not seen The Amazing Spider-Man yet, click out of this video right now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want. But I'm going to talk about all the big stuff that happened in this movie, so go away. Okay, hopefully you all are gone now, but if you have seen the movie and you're still here, let's talk. And I really want to hear you guys' opinions in the comments below. I really do. So, big bombshell, Gwen Stacy died. And when I actually did saw that coming, because she actually dies in the comics just like that. Green Goblin throws her off the bridge, Spider-Man saves her, grabs her ankle with her web, and then her neck snaps because of all the force that, you know, the tug gives when he grabs her. And I kind of knew that was going to happen because, you know, it's in the comics, and even Emma Stone said when they were filming, Gwen Stacy needs to die because they need to stick to the source material, and that's what makes Amazing Spider-Man so great, because it sticks so close to the comic. But I think those few precious moments when she was falling down the clock tower, everyone in the theater was holding their breath, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And a really funny note, one of my friends brought his friend to watch it with us, and during the whole thing he's like, please die. Gwen needs to die. Die. And I didn't know about that until we got out of the theater, which I laughed at that part. But yes, Gwen dying was probably the biggest cliffhanger in this movie so far. So that happened. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that it was stupid? I personally like it, so more people can come in, like Mary Jane Watson or Felicia Hardy. And let's talk about that. Felicia Hardy was in this movie very briefly. She was actually Harry Osborn's assistant. She didn't give her last name, but her name is Felicia, and I'm pretty sure there's only one Felicia in the whole Amazing Spider-Man / Spider-Man universe, and she sooner or later becomes Black Cat. Now, I don't know if she'll become a possible, you know, Black Cat character in future Amazing Spider-Man movies, either, so, but I'm glad they put her in there, you know, as a little, you know, throw an extra little Easter egg in there for fans, so I really like that a lot. Now let's talk about the Harry Osborn / hating Spider-Man part. And the reason why he's doing that is because, like I said in earlier the video, his dad died of this Osborn curse that he calls it. It's like this genetic virus that attacks your nervous system and kills you from the inside out, and it turns your skin green and makes your fingernails grow long, and you know, it drains you. It really does. And he looked like the Green Goblin when he was on his deathbed. And then Harry finds out that the venom that they extracted from the spiders that they were working on when Peter's dad was working at Oscorp, they are possibly the answer or the cure to whatever, you know, this genetic, you know, disease is. And when he finds out how to get it, he actually gets in contact with Electro Max Dillon. And at this point in the movie, Electro is actually in this cage in an insane asylum, and actually Harry breaks in, basically gives Max Dillon an ultimatum saying, I will break you out of here, I will give you you know, the necessary stuff that you need, I will give you Spider-Man, because Max Dillon, he looked up to Spider-Man, and when Spider-Man was fighting him, he's like, you hate me now. He's like one of those guys that's like, you hate me, blah blah blah, I'm gonna kill you. So he was more than happy to help Harry get this venom that it is in Oscorp, and Harry kind of is on lockdown from Oscorp because he found out that, you know, Max Dillon died and they covered it up. So he needs his help to break into Oscorp, get this stuff, and when he takes it, it doesn't go good because Peter's dad left a message on his underground hidden lab that is a pretty cool thing that Peter found, saying that his DNA is what makes the Spider-Man venom or the spider venom work. His DNA is the only thing that works for it because those spiders are genetically altered with his DNA, so only his bloodline can get the full aspects of the cure, and that's why Peter is Spider-Man right now, because he is his son. And when Harry takes the spider venom, it turns him into the Green Goblin, and when he was turning into the Green Goblin, it was so cool because you can just see his skin turning green and morphing around, and his nails growing long and his teeth going green and his eyes glowing, and it was perfect. I thought it wasn't going to be a good Green Goblin. I thought it was going to be more of like a crazy man, but that's who the Green Goblin is. He is crazy. He is psycho. He laughs a lot, and I loved when Dane DeHaan was laughing. It was so cool. It really added on to the Green Goblin, and most people might not think that it was a good idea to put the Green Goblin in this, but I loved it because the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's ultimate villain. He is his arch nemesis, Harry Osborn. So above all that, it was amazing to see Green Goblin in this movie. And the fight with Electro, there was multiple fights with Electro in this. Like I said in before, Jamie Foxx did a fantastic job as Electro. When they were fighting, when Electro moves around the city, it was so cool. Like, he travels through the wall sockets and through the electrical lines throughout the whole city, so he can be there in an instant if he wanted to. And he basically like appeared and reappeared with like electrical signals out of thin air, sort of like Dr. Manhattan does in Watchmen. That it really reminded me of that, but it looks more electric instead of like veiny, if that makes sense. But the way he moved around, the fighting with him was really cool, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Another thing that I really want to talk about is the possible Sinister Six setup. When Harry went to the underground archives, you can obviously see the Doc Ock tentacle arms. You can obviously see the Vulture wings, and you can obviously see the Rhino suit that comes in later at the end. And I want to say this before I go back to the Sinister Six stuff. I loved that they had Rhino in the very beginning, and then they brought him back in the very end. I loved that because everyone was thinking that he was going to be a beginning boss, and then it was going to be Amazing Spider-Man logo, then the movie starts. I loved that how Peter subdued him in the very beginning, and then he came back later as the part of the Sinister Six, and Harry is organizing the Sinister Six in jail right now. He's in the insane asylum, and he is organizing it from the inside out, because that creepy, mysterious man that showed up out of nowhere at the end credits of the first Amazing Spider-Man, he's helping him out. He's helping him plan everything, and I think that is Mysterio. I'm pretty sure 100% that it is, but I could be wrong. They actually said his name, but I forgot what it was. God dang it! But I'm very happy to say that the Sinister Six is getting formed. You know, Rhino, possibly Venom, Harry Osborn as Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Vulture, and I don't know who else. Electro, of course, Electro. And you know, after we saw Electro get beat, he kind of got like exploded and went into all the city's power. He gave all the city its power back, so he might come back. You know, he is electricity. He could freaking phase through wall sockets, for God's sake, so he can obviously come back. And that is it for this review, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you loved The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as much as I did. I give it a 9.5. Let me know what you give it in the comments below, and let me know what you think about the movie. And also, did you think that they did everything right? Did you think that they could have done something better? Also, let me know in the comments. But I'm gonna go, and I loved this movie so much. Go see it with your friends. Go see it with a family member. Go, you know, hang out with a friend. Go, or even go by yourself if you really want to see it. Go see it. It's that good. I'm planning on actually going to see it again. If I'm bored one day, I might just walk up to my local theater and go see it again because I loved it that much. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe for more gaming videos, because this usually is a gaming channel, but I thought I should do a review for The Amazing Spider-Man because I was so amped up about it. And I am playing The Amazing Spider-Man game, so go check that out on my channel, and it's really fun. So yes, I will see you all next time, gamers and moviegoers and webheads and Spider-Man fans, and I'll see you all next time. Hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully, you know, in the next Spider-Man movie. Hopefully Sinister Six. We shall see. Until next time, gamers and webheads, peace.